What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Waters. We've got a treat for you all coming up here in the next 4, 5, 6 weeks. So Missy and I were able to record 5 conversations with Olympic legends directly from the Lucas Oil Stadium press box overlooking the pool at Olympic trials. So grateful to USA Swimming for providing us that opportunity. And first up, we have Matt Grevers. Matt is a 6-time Olympic medalist, 3 of them gold, coming from the 2008 Beijing Games and the 2012 London Games. And Matt was raw off of his 7th Olympic trials appearance at 39 years old. He competed in the 50 freestyle just a day before when we had this conversation. So we got all the hot take on his experience, his emotions, what made him decide to come back, why it was important in front of his girls and with his wife, Annie. And then we journeyed all the way back to 2008, his first Olympic team experience, how he put together his insane rookie skit, and then what it was like to win his first individual gold in London in the 100-meter backstroke. And then we moved on to a tough time in 2016 when he narrowly missed the Olympic team, and what Annie, his wife, really helped him do in terms of perspective, in terms of moving forward. Really, really fascinating and a unique take on missing something so narrowly and how he got back up. Then we talk about what he's up to now. So he is heavily involved in the DeMont Family Swim School. It has given him so much more than he thought. He also works with a shared partner, the Magic 5 goggles, which he competes in to this day at the Olympic trials. And then we get to hear Matt's word that he selected, which will really shed light on your own journey to stay present, stay patient in every interaction in moment. It's so good. It's such an awesome conversation. We shed some tears. We laugh. We know you all will enjoy. So without further ado, Matt Grevers. As swimmers, triathletes, and anyone who utilizes swimming as a form of fitness, I think we can all agree that we used to resign ourselves to the fact that goggles leave marks, are super uncomfortable, and don't look all that styling. The Magic 5 has completely transformed this idea. Here's how it works. You download an app, it scans your face in less than 5 minutes, and then you get a custom pair of goggles to your doorstep. Mine are pink, and I am obsessed. We've got a special discount for all of our Unfiltered Waters family. It's 20% off your purchase. Go to www.themagic5.com/unfiltered. So go get your custom pair of goggles today.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a minute to thank one of our amazing sponsors, Little Words Project. As you guys know, LWP is a huge part of Unfiltered Waters. We ask all of our guests one of those same questions every episode. What is their word, their purpose, something they're working towards? And we actually get to gift them a Little Words Project bracelet with their word on it. It is so meaningful to us. We've gotten so much great feedback from them. And Katie and I have truly noticed a difference going through the ups and downs, the challenges and the success of life, always having your words right there on your wrist where you can look down for encouragement, for hope. And then of course, those extra special moments when you can take one of yours off and give it to someone else who you feel like needs it a little bit more than you do in that moment. These bracelets are so much more than just jewelry. They're power, they give meaning, they give purpose, and we are so thankful to LWP for allowing us to be a part of their journey on Unfiltered Waters. Matt Grevers from Lucas Oil Stadium, our actual first competitor at Olympic trials. Everyone we've had so far has been retired, and you, sir, are absolutely not. Swam the 50 free. This is your 7th consecutive Olympic trials. You were 15 in 2000, and that was your first one. I saw that race of you qualifying, everyone around. What was that moment, having everyone you love, everyone in the swim school cheering you on, and you get your Olympic trials cut for this meet?
It was awesome. I mean, it's a smaller meet, and I ended up doing it in a time trial, which is way easier in the 50 free, by the way, not having the wave right next to you. And the announcer did a great job just getting the crowd excited. They're like, he's going for 7th Olympic trial cut, and people are like, oh, cool.
Cool.
And so they got louder. I was like, oh, gotta go. And touching the wall and actually seeing that time, I surprised myself with the time. I was like, I didn't just get it, I kind of got it.
Yeah.
That was fun. And just the journey there was fun. Nathan was supposed to do it with me.
Yeah.
He's a busy guy though. He's got a lot of things to do. He did do, I don't know if you talked to him about it, but I think he did a time trial and he had a meeting run late. So he could either like warm up or wear a fast suit. And he just wore a brief and he still went really fast, like wasn't far off the cut. So I was like, oh, he would have easily got it.
If he'd had to warm up the suit, it would have been easy money.
So hopefully next time we'll do it together, because I would love to do it again in 4 years. This was incredible, just watching the races in the stands, athlete area, seeing the coaches, being in that environment, feeling that electricity and the impact it makes on the coaches and the team. It's addicting. It's really fun to be a part of still, and I'm not really completely let go of that. So I'm who knows if I can still do it, but I think physically, yes. It's just if you have the time.
It's the commitment.
Yeah.
Well, it's been so inspiring because literally Katie and I have been like, do we do it?
I know.
And I've heard a lot of alums say that.
Yeah.
Like, you really set an example. This, like, you have been inspiring so many for so long. But I just think this in particular was so cool for so many people to be like, you have so many other things going on. You know, this isn't your primary focus anymore. Yeah. You're a father, you're a husband, you're a business owner, like all these things. And you still made it happen. And I just think instilling that for other people, like, you can have a lot going on and still fight for things like that.
I think that's why you want to do it.
Yeah.
When you have a lot going on, and you get to cut out a little piece of your day for you. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
And I have the support around me that I can make it happen. But yeah, like getting away from yourself, it's really nice to come back in the water. There's no phone distractions. It's just the quiet of the water, and you get to work on yourself. When you get older, that becomes more and more rare. So I think it's the older swimmers like, that sounds good.
It sounds really nice.
So are you committing? Is this you committing right now?
Ooh, yeah.
To be honest, I'll do it.
What event?
I guess Matt's a great person. What's going to be, the easiest?
To do it?
Yeah.
No, 50 free for me would not be it. It'd be 100 breasts. I'm committing to 100 breasts.
Well, I feel like women's cuts now for backstroke are insane. So I don't know.
I feel like
maybe women's, but
100 free?
I was going to say 2 free, but I don't know if I can give it to a 200.
God.
But I feel like, I don't know.
We'll talk.
We
got to commit. We got a confirmation commit. No event yet, but confirmation.
We'll look for feedback from our audience as well. If you guys have any insight on what Katie and I should do to come back and make our trial cuts for 28, please let us know.
I'll do it together.
I think 50 free was hard. I'm gonna transition to backstroke personally.
Okay.
There's not much room for error. And it's different training. It's like a really purposeful, very mindful every stroke. I didn't want to have any bad habits, so I'm not just relaxing, swimming easy. It was all like really strong strokes. I think backstroke, our endurance is still pretty good when we get older.
Yeah.
It's like the fast twitch in my vertical's gone way down. Yeah. Like a lot of things that really help for the 50 aren't there. So it was harder to train. I just thought I kind of got it wrong. So I'm excited to kind of go to 100.
That would be, and that's kind of why I thought about the 200 too, is I know it's more training, and just to clarify, no event is easy to make in Olympic trials. We're just trying to figure out which one we would have the best chance.
Yes. Well, I want to talk about that because I read that you obviously were much more intentional. You weren't going to be doing doubles. You weren't training 10 times a week. But how much were you actually in the water?
Yeah, it got more serious as it went on, but it started, I kind of got excited after Golden Goggles talking about being in a football stadium. I was like, I want to swim there. And just being in that environment with all the swimmers, just hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
A reunion. I was like, I would love to do another reunion. And so it was kind of like 2-3 times a week for about like 1,000 to 2,000 area. But I was lifting a lot. I was pretty strong. And then I kind of stopped. I did less lifting, more swimming, but still like 30 in the water for 30, 45 minutes to an hour. When I went fast, I was in the water longer, in the pool longer, but still like 1,000 to 2,000 swimming pretty much.
Yeah, which is manageable.
Yeah, which is what, for people who don't know, like that's probably a quarter of what you probably normally did.
Absolutely. But it was very focused. Like I only wore snorkel or no breath swimming. I didn't want to have a hitch in my stroke because I had a horrible breath when I was swimming freestyle. So I just kind of took some of those obstacles out of the way. No, it was really fun, but kind of then I had to really ramp up. I kept trying, and I was getting like 23.0, 22.99, 23.0, and I'm full shaving every time for this. I'm like, I'm not going to get it. Like, I'm running out of time. I really want to go. And so I tapered, which I didn't think was possible off like 1,000 of practice. And Rick DeMont, I pulled him out of retirement. And so he was coaching me, helped me incredibly with the technical aspect. I thought I knew what I was doing, but sprint freestyle is different.
Yeah. And there's always more to learn.
Yeah. And he was excited to work on with that with me. We never really got into the 50 together. So that was really fun. But then he's like, you're going fast all the time. Just do less fast. So I went like 4 times a week of going all out, at least for some portions, to 3 times to 2 times, and I was getting a little faster. And then he's like, just go once a week fast. I was like, what else do I do? He's like, just do drills. He said, be an otter. Just be an otter in the water. Just like float around. So, and that's when, and then I kept doing that, and I didn't go much faster here because I think I tapered.
You were out of taper.
A lot of taper happened, but it was really, really fun.
I want to go back to what you told me in the mix zone of kind of like, you basically said I had just the right amount of darkness. And I want you to elaborate on that for people who don't understand. Because I think people think, football and like contact sports, you have to go into that kind of like kill mode. But the 50 free is kind of like kill mode.
You don't have any, you got to hold that momentum. So if you mess up your start even a little bit, you never get that speed back throughout the entire lap. So my darkness is my focus, and I'm putting a little bit of pressure on myself, like not really enjoying the moment as much, like I'm putting a little bit of heaviness. And I like it. Like I miss it. It reminds me of the peak of my swimming, where we probably overdid it then. But I thought it worked. I thought that's why I was performing well, is because I'm putting more pressure on myself. And so to get the taste of it, like here, to get the nerves, the butterflies, like I love it. Like I get that with pickleball. Like I did one pickleball tournament, and I'm like stretching before, and I'm like, this is it. Like music. I'm like, I'm feeling it. Like I loved it. It's why people, if they go skydiving, they want to keep going, getting that adrenaline hit. And I was getting it, like a darkness hit, a heavy hit of just putting pressure and adding gravity to the situation, making it important. Most things aren't that fast. You have more than 22 seconds to figure out your business day or your meeting. You can kind of feel it out. You can make mistakes and adjust. But in swimming, you got to you kind of can, but in the 50, you can't really make mistakes and adjust. So the level of focus is really fun for me to just make sure everything's on and focus for it.
I love that. Do you, what is in your headphones pre-pickleball tournament?
I imagine shots. I imagine serves. I imagine, that's how I do everything. Like Annie laughs at me, but
you're consistent across all fronts.
I enjoy that. I enjoy the preparation and the routines I can get involved in. Like any routine, any prep that's familiar, and then it becomes part of the pattern and process, and then I get to execute on it. Love it.
Well, and that makes so much sense too, because you had so much consistency over your career. And I feel like that mindset plays a huge part in that, is like preparation, execution. And I feel like we see that a lot too from like the Nathans and the Ryan Murphys, and like maybe it's a men's US backstroker thing, but you guys are all just so honed in on like, all right, here's where I want to go. Here's what I have to do to get there. So this is what I'm going to work on and focus on every single day. And it's very mechanical almost, but you guys also have a lot of fun while doing it.
Absolutely. Well, and I like adding new things, like a new flavor to the routine. I'm like, no, that didn't work. That's out again. Or, oh, that's nice. Let's add that in there.
I feel like almost chemists, like when I think of you guys, like chemists of the sport, like you guys are both so cerebral. And I always looked at you guys like, wow, I feel like they really are. They understand the technique. They could coach someone. Whereas I'm kind of just like, just get in. And, like you guys really could coach people to be better because you guys were so intuitive with each other, I felt like.
Yeah, I definitely got coaching from Nathan throughout the years. And I remember I used to train with Cal at the training center in Christmas break. And I just love swimming next to Nathan, just getting all the pointers. He'd give you something every now and then. But he was definitely very particular and mechanical in his stroke. And I am too, but that's good and bad for sure for the elite level. Some people just get the feel and they have the throttle, right? It's go or don't go. And Nathan's talked about this before. It's like he goes really deep into it, how different bugs fly differently. Like beetles, think of like I might be getting this backwards, but it's like each individual wing, like I'm flapping this one, and then some like flies are just up, down, forward.
Okay.
And there's a lot of benefit to just having a throttle without thinking about, okay, like armpits here, my release is here, leverage on the water, my kicks. I like having the checklist of going, okay, this is good. Oh, this is coming out. Pull it back. But some people, I think Ryan Lochte is a great example of just a go.
Yes.
He'd race people around him. Yeah. And that was just natural. So both definitely work.
Both work.
But it's it can't stop. I guess you can't stop who you are.
No.
Lean into it.
Yeah.
So we're going to go back to 2008 because that was your first Olympic Games. And so we're going to kind of walk through your journey because as I mentioned before, it's so impressive what you're able to accomplish over the years. You've been such a leader for Team USA and you've been a part and a role model in this foundation and growing what is Team USA men's backstroke. And I mean, just the unbelievable history that we have. So take us back to Beijing, what that experience was like for you, your first Olympic Games. What were your major takeaways from that?
Well, first of all, thank you for all those nice words. And you guys, incredible leaders. I mean, and what you're doing here is just awesome for the sport. And you guys are doing great.
Thank you.
2008, getting to just be around Aaron Pearsall was awesome. Awesome for me, who's like very nervous, made things very serious, focused on the future, like what if, and just seeing he's very present. He's very enjoyed this, like think about now, like look around you now. And it was really good for that to rub off on me. And I remember racing in Beijing and thinking, I'm racing for second, like be really great to get second because Aaron's got first. And when we went 1-2, that was like a dream come true. And that really just gave you the taste of what it was to, like, I've achieved goals. And that's a really nice thing about swimming when you're young is you get these goals and you're like, that's just part of the process. Like I have a goal and I get it.
Like, and then I set another one and then I get that one.
Yeah, you keep
so
going.
Easy.
It's great. And it was so pure. And so, just racing because you love to race, swimming because you love to swim. I wasn't worried about, financial aspects of the sport or pressure expectations. So 2008 was just amazing to be on Team USA, experience that culture, get some insights from the best in the world on how they do it, how they cope with pressure. Seeing Michael Phelps, I mean, the pressure on him to get 8 gold medals was astounding. Like I felt it from far away, and the way he was able to deal with that and do it is, I mean, he's the GOAT for so many reasons, but it's just incredible to see what he could handle. And I think I took pieces from everyone I saw, and from him, I liked how he took that pressure and made it energy. How he took that pressure and performed with it. And then, like I said, that kind of opposite is Aaron, who's like releases the pressure by not thinking about what happened in the past or what's going to happen in the future, just enjoying that moment. And then all the coaches just getting to hang out with like Eddie Reese and getting tips from him. And everyone. And the camp has always been my favorite part.
Same.
That's what I always miss most.
Yep, we're exactly the same. We talk about it all the time.
Good food, always in a good environment with good people, similar mindsets, and you're just high on endorphins all the time because you're working out. It's like the best vacation you can imagine, the workout vacation. So it was just amazing, and it was just an enjoyable experience in Beijing. Just didn't really know. I'm like, of course I'm going to get a silver medal, like, or be on these relay gold medals. It was great.
Can I share my, speaking of camp, can I share my favorite memory of you from your rookie skit?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
Dancing? Was I?
You guys
Okay, well, first of all, like, I feel like, I mean, we all get in our own bubbles, right, in camp. Like, you have your groups of people. And so I don't feel like you and I had crossed paths. And I know you were in your room a lot. You were playing,
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft. And so I remember I really hadn't met you because you were always playing World of Warcraft. And then it's like, we're in Singapore. And for people who don't know, I don't know if I think they stopped these or they're going to bring them back. But when you're a rookie on the team, you have to do your rookie skit. So it's super embarrassing. And I'd heard a rumor that your group was going to dance to Call on Me. And I was like, oh, interesting. It was Schmitty. I was like, this is going to be wild. But had no idea. Lacey Niemeyer. Who else was in it? Ben.
Eric Chanteau.
Yes. He had the crop top. And the music played, and you just jumped. I swear you did like a gold medal long jump, like from the side of the room, and just started like the whole room shook first of all, and then started aggressively thrusting. And like I was like, who is this guy? He is spectacular. That's my first memory of you, other than being like, oh, where'd that guy come from?
Where's he?
Oh, he's from Spectre. I just saw him for the first time in a week. So I have the fondest memories, other than watching you guys go 1-2 and that amazing thing. Like, that's the fun memories that you remember. So you're welcome for that.
Thank you. I think my dancing's terrible. But
it is not
a large person.
Yeah, that's not true. You're a great dancer.
Well, thank you. I don't, I got to be in a special place for it to really come out. But I like the sporadic, really high jumps, or it throws people off.
Yes.
And then the landing, I like to have a real
really
heavy landing. And they're like, whoa.
So
it doesn't, don't concentrate on the moves. It's like noise or like surprising them in a good way. They're like, what happened?
Like, attention was on you. Yeah. We were all like, go.
I had flexible hips, so I could kind of pop my hips out a little bit. So do the booty shake.
You did.
We love a good booty shake.
Do we need to get some like B-roll behind the scenes after
this?
I don't know. Maybe.
I tightened up a little bit over the years, so I could try.
Oh my gosh. Well, you finished out Beijing. Huge meet. And I actually read this about you, and very similar to Nathan. You made some adjustments, you made some changes, because obviously at that point you still have not won gold individually, and I know that was on your mind. And I heard that you did a lot more strength training. So I want to hear about kind of what you did, who you huddled with as, okay, now we're going to go and attack the next quad. Here are the goals. Here's what I want to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I had a natural endurance always. So I was 200 backstroker. Through college, I did 2 IM, 2 backstroke. And then I probably should have kept doing 2 backstroke, but it's just painful.
So we chose not to. If I was
good enough to be at the 100, then that's fine. So I know I could have more strength and more explosive power. So, and I'm addicted to improvement. Yeah. And I was improving in practice, but I was really improving in the weight room. Mm. So my first year, I didn't lift very much at Northwestern. I don't really know why. I think Coach Bob Groseth wanted me to lift more, but I just wasn't getting that improvement, or I wasn't getting the value back, and it made me swim slower in season. Yeah. And I like swimming fast all the time. And I did swim pretty well comparative to how I did when I was lifting more. So when I was at Arizona, we did a squat test, and I remember the weight coach coming by, and he's like, all right, squat. And I had 225 on, and he's like, that wasn't low enough. I was like, oh no, like some of the girls are doing this weight. So I was like, oh, I hope no one's watching. I did 205. Wasn't low enough. When I went low enough, I failed. And he's like, 185 wasn't, and I was like, oh my gosh. So 175, and I was like super embarrassed. I was like, this isn't happening again. So I got way more into weights. Adam Ritter, swimmer, Arizona, grade 2 freestyler. Yeah. Then he was stronger. Like, I looked stronger than him, but he was stronger than me. And I kind of just paired up with him, and we started lifting more together. And I'm just competitive. I don't want, if I pair up with someone better than me at someone, I'm probably going to catch up to him eventually. And then I passed him. He's going to get mad at that. And I became addicted to that improvement, because it really all of a sudden, now I could back squat almost 405 by the end.
Oh my gosh.
How long did that take to go from 175 to 405?
That's probably 4 years or 5 years.
Yeah. Still though.
but yeah, way better. And like bench, whatever, it's not that important for swimming, but went from 225 to 315, and probably could have done a lot more. And then I hurt my shoulder.
I feel like every guy at one point hurts their shoulder because it's just the ego is just
exactly.
right there.
You're 100% right. It is not smart. Yeah. So I got really into lifting, and that definitely hurt my in-season swimming. So I like Pro Series or Grand Prix back in the day, just getting your butt kicked. It was humbling and not fun. And then you just have to believe that you were going to taper well. Yeah. And so it was a different process, but I wanted that gold medal bad enough that I could suffer the worst swimming year round to go for that. And that's kind of what happened. There's times I think I went at 51 in my 100 free at Santa Clara, which is pretty close to the trials meet. And then at trials meet, I went like 48.5.
Wow.
And I was trying in Santa Clara. I just needed to rest from the weights.
Yeah.
So that power was great. It gave me easy speed, but it really sunk me and lowered me. Like my body position in the pool was super low because I was just tired.
Yeah. And how did you do that? Because I feel like a lot of times when we're on here, we're like, oh yeah, we just believed, or yeah, we just got through it. And it's like, I think for me, when I made shifts and I was beat down at meets, I was used to swimming really, really fast. So it's a huge gut-wrenching punch to the confidence when you're not swimming fast in season. I mean, I imagine it was talking with coaches, it was talking with teammates, but what was the number one thing? Because a lot of kids go through this that you did.
Everyone in Arizona did it. Like there's a few that went fast in season. It was almost pride that, I worked. I was working hard.
So
because
hard
I was that slow.
Yep.
So it was fine. I was just in that environment. That's just one of the benefits of being a part of a really good program or team is now if I did that by myself, if I was training by myself, probably not. I wouldn't have done it, right? I would have eased off the throttle because I would have been starting to get nervous, like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But since everyone did it and everyone believed in it, I didn't really spend that much time. There was a little time in the freestyle. My backstroke didn't suffer quite so bad, but my freestyle was like, am I really going to have enough time to come back from this? Or I think it was in 2012, might be jumping ahead, but we did a swim invitational in the Omaha pool just to like get ready before the actual meet. Yeah. And I went really slow, and I was like, "Ooh, we only have like 2 weeks.
We're getting close here."
I was a little nervous, but it again, just when the coaches believe and there's confidence in the other athletes around you, then it's not that hard to go with it. But again, when you're training by yourself, then it's a different story.
Yeah. And I think that's really important for people to hear too, because we actually, I feel like, have talked about this more on the mental side of things, that like healing isn't linear and progress isn't linear. But this is a great example of when physically it also isn't always linear. Like you may not see the results, as you mentioned, right away, right when you want to see them. It may even, in fact, look like you're kind of taking a step back. You're more sore, you're more tired, you're not competing that way. So I think that's just really important for people to hear too, that it may not be wrong if you're not immediately seeing things happen, but stay in communication with your coaches, stay in tune to how you're feeling and how you feel like it's impacting your swimming, and just kind of stay the course and have that faith and know that everyone's journey looks different and everyone's process looks different.
Absolutely. I think that's what's hard for some people to make stroke changes with, is because they're developing new muscles that haven't been developed for that certain pull pattern stroke. And so they try it for a little bit and then doesn't connect, even though they know, or the coaches might know, hey, that's probably what's going to be best for you and your stroke. It's hard to make that commitment because your other muscles are more developed, whatever muscle memory or bad habit that you might have or developed. It's really hard to make that shift.
Yeah.
And then because it's slower, because you know those muscles just don't have it, or whatever extension, flexibility. Yeah.
Well,
it takes time.
Yours paid off. So let's talk about London.
That was awesome. There was that 4-year chunk. There's some up and downs. So we talked about setting goals and just getting them. Well, in 2010, I had my first really bad meet. I didn't make the team. I didn't make. We hung out. I was at your house.
Oh man.
In Pan Paxton, it was in Irvine was the meet.
And I was on that team with your
Mama
wife.
Bear.
Yep.
Oh, that's so crazy.
And that was so sad that Annie made the team. The time Annie made the team, I didn't make the team. So that's why I was hanging out. Katie was nice enough to let me hang out with her and watch that kind of pan packs. But it was devastating. And it was like that first kind of rock to your confidence. Now you're like, whoa, it doesn't always work out just because you really hope for it and you do the work. And that's a hard realization for a young swimmer. They're like, but I did everything.
Yeah.
Like, why? I did everything. Actually, I did more than I've ever done before. And that was it. I finally realized I actually hit the point where I overtrained. Yeah. I ran a little too much and I lifted a ton. And I remember I didn't do it that much. I'm going to make it, I probably am remembering it differently, but I remember swimming 5-6K in the morning and then lifted and then did dry land and then did a pool group and then swam again. So it was like 10, 11K swimming with a pretty big lift and then an hour or like 45 minutes of dry land, 30, 45. And I'm tired. Yeah. But I was like, I'm going to be really good at the end of the season. Yeah. And I never got it. Like I just never, and I probably would have had a great 200 back, but unfortunately it was at the end of the meet and I already bombed my 100 and my 100 back and 100 free. So like didn't have the confidence, but that was hard for me. That was like the first kind of, you see it happen to a lot of swimmers that if they stick around long enough, it's going to happen. Yeah. You're going to have some meets that don't go your way. And so to bounce back from that was good for me. Clark Burkle didn't have a great meet either. So we kind of bounced back together and really was fired up. And I learned to train after that year smarter, not harder. Like that became my new saying. Because at first it was like when it's in the weight room, it's when, might get it wrong, but if talent doesn't work hard, then hard work beats talent. Or like
yes.
And then I was like, it's not always just hard work; it's smart work. Like I started convincing myself of that.
I love that.
And then in 2012, I was really I understood my own body and walking that tightrope of being too tired or still having strength, like not going super fast all the time, but also not letting my sink a foot in the water because I'm so beat up. And it ended up swimming great. I remember in the semifinals, like just smiling, like I got it, like my body has it, I feel good, like I'm not trying it all right now, and I'm going pretty fast.
Wow.
And I think I was like a 53.0 and my rate was a 1.7.
Wow.
Like it was,
and for people who don't know, that's
very slow. It's like slower than 200 rate.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Russell Marks, like I remember him doing a presentation on backstroke and there was one dot up there. He's like, you threw off.
The average.
Yes. He's like, there's 1.3s and then a 1.7. And most people are like 1.3s, 1.2s. And I just remember that race and being like, the body's there. Like, this is awesome.
Everything's falling into place.
So I was just excited. I wasn't that nervous for the finals. I mean, sure, I was to try to make the team. And but swam a great race and just was fired up. And when you're swimming well, everything's easier. Like life
everything.
Life's great.
You don't overanalyze anything. You're happy. Everyone's smiling at you. It's
food
sunshine.
Tastes better. You're sleeping better. Your friends are funnier. Better. Everything's good.
I know. I always want to hear people skip over this, but it's my favorite thing to hear is what was your first thought or emotion when you touch the wall and you see number 1 next to your name and you know you're a gold medalist?
That was incredible. And in London, backstroke's unique where you can really see what's going on. Yeah. You can really check out. And I came off that wall and I didn't know the first 50. You don't know if people are holding back in semis. I had a pretty good idea what was happening, but I blasted off that wall and I saw I was getting ahead. I was like, this is mine. I'm doing it. And you're almost celebrating like too early. But it gave me more energy to touch the wall. And it's just a dream come true. And I think the first thought's always family. At least for me, it's like who supported you. And then you kind of do it for them almost more than yourself. So at least for me, and I think that's really good. But also when we move later on in this conversation, we'll probably have the negative side of that support. But so cool to do it for everyone that put so much into you.
Yeah.
Like you validated their energy, their passion, and everything they put into you. So just I thought of, yeah, Annie and my parents and my brother and sister and just like coaches. Rick DeMont was, just one of my best friends to do it for him and my teammates. Just, you're just kind of the people champion at that moment.
Yeah.
Like it was so cool. They get pride in it too. It's like when your sports team does well, you know that they're all enjoying that moment. So that's what I was thinking of. And then later it's really cool to think about, hey, like after I'm gone, we're in the history books forever.
Yeah.
I will be remembered.
Yes.
It's like that Troy scene. He's like, you're going to fight this big guy. I would never do that. He's like, that's why no one will remember your name. And I'm like, yeah, we did it. Like, remember my name. This is awesome.
Here at Unfiltered Waters, we have a big summer coming up, and that means lots of time in a hotel room, on an airplane, and lots of opportunities to mess up our sleep. Missy and I have to be on and ready for the action, and we can't be worrying about being sleep deprived. I am obsessed with this Dream Tape. I have been using it for 6 months, and let me tell you, I fall asleep faster. I wake up more rested. It's breathable. It's super soft and super easy to take off, and I am so grateful to Dream Recovery for providing us with the ability to be on when we need to and well rested throughout a crazy busy year. We have a special code for you. It's code UNFILTERED for 30% off your first order and 50% off your first month of Dream Tape. Sweet dreams.
If you have been following me for a while, you know that I have been obsessed with OXB jewelry forever. And I am so excited that they are an official sponsor of Unfiltered Waters. You guys, OXB jewelry, it is sweat-proof, it is waterproof. If you have an active lifestyle, it is the only jewelry out there that is amazing and will stay with you through all of your workouts, up, down, sweaty, high impact, low impact. Their pieces are so cute. They are meant to mix and match so you can wear a million different pieces and they all look so, so good together. They do not tarnish. You guys, I cannot say enough about them. They are women owned. They're based out of Denver, Colorado, and it is such an incredible company and we are so thankful for their support. So go to shopoxb.com and use code UNFilteredWaters to get 15% off your jewelry order. That's what's been getting me the most amped up here every night is when the Champions Never Die comes on in the pre-show. And I'm just like,
you're right. You're right. You're right.
This is a much smaller anecdote, but one of my favorite memories from London was you and Nathan and you guys in the village literally having to get extenders on the beds because literally like your knees down were off of the beds. Like they didn't fit.
Oh
like,
my God. People who don't, this guy is 6'7", so you can't tell sitting down, but yeah. I mean, Nathan's 6'6".
Yeah.
You're 6'8".
6'8". Yeah.
6'8".
No, we're all the same thing. We're that tall. We did get the extenders. They're like rock hard, but hey.
Yeah.
That was, There's so many tall athletes. So you think?
There are.
I think they got it down now. I think they figured it out.
Because the basketball players don't stay in the village.
That's true.
That's why.
They got the hotel.
They have the 5-star experience.
It's all right. We will talk about that later.
Well, I want to move on to 2016. And the thing I want to focus on the most that I read a lot about and knowing Annie personally was just how much her perspective in the sport helped you in 2016. And you just talked about family. But for people who don't know, Annie was a badass swimmer herself. NCAA finalist, All-American, made the final at the Olympic trials. And so, we both have spouses that are also elite athletes and it helps so much because they kind of just get it, I always like to say. But I want to hear your thoughts and perspective and memories of 2016.
Yeah, no, it was, so Annie, she was very close in 2008 and 12.
Yeah.
4th and 5th.
Yeah.
And it's 100 breast is right after 100 back, or it was. So she was in the ready room watching my race happen. And I always felt terrible. I'm like, man, she was jacked up for me, like probably ruining her taper, like cheering for me. But
no,
she was always so good with that process. Like she let me take the spotlight, like enjoy my moment there while she was absorbing her suffering. So it was like good to see just her stoicism, like her stoicism. I'm gonna say that right one of these times. just, yeah, how she handled it. And then in 2016, she knew that I was suffering. Just to give a little bit of preface of 2016, I think I'm always rooting for the 2-3-time Olympians. It's not just because I know them, it's because I understand the pressure.
Yeah.
Like it's different than first time, like we talked about, hey, it was a goal, and we did it.
Yeah.
So when you're Olympic gold medalists, it doesn't matter if anyone else has expectation, you think they do. Like I'm supposed to win this thing again. Like the country is depending on me. Like it's like your family can support you and then say all the perfect things. They can be, you know, psychiatrists, all of them that know exactly what to say. You're still going to build this, at least I built this story in my head that I needed to do it for everyone that supported me.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to, again, I said, you won. The first thing I thought of was like, hey, I did it for everyone. I got to validate their energy and what they put into me, and it was all worth it because we accomplished this thing together. So then it goes the other way where like, hey, if I don't do it, they did it for nothing. Like all their energy, they're going to feel like they let me down. And it's just a vicious cycle. I let them down. They think they let me down. It's like everyone's letting down, and no one is. In reality, that's not true at all. But your brain can rationally think that, but emotionally not get it.
Yeah.
So, getting third when I thought I was supposed to win, supposed to protect, you know, the country's tradition and be a leader on the team, it was devastating. And those guys just swam fast. And by the way, that's the best way to do it. Like if two guys go really fast and you're kind of there, but not like, if we all went slow, that would have been harder for me. But Ryan Murphy and David Plummer swam great. And it was like a weird moment. Like I knew I was being selfish. I knew I was being, because I was hurt. I like thinking back, you're like, you shouldn't be. You swam a great race. You're third in the country. There's so much to be proud of. Like everyone that helped you, like give them a smile. They want that smile. And I can give a smile. But inside, you're just like, oh.
Yeah. It's not genuine.
So having Annie, like knowing that she, you know, just a hug from her meant a lot. You got to edit this out. No, she was awesome. And just her words, the way she wrote about me. It's a weird thing that you can talk to someone in person and you hear it, but you don't absorb it the same way as words on paper.
Yeah.
And so when she wrote nice things and you read other nice things, really kind of made that experience better. Like it made me see the positives and the light, and then, you know, getting to see Ryan and David do so well at the Olympics made it all way better. And I know it sounds silly, like I got to accomplish so much in swimming. Why is this heaviness there? Why is this sadness? When, but I almost want to say that like people that write comments that are negative, like we read a lot of that.
Yeah.
And when you write comments that are positive, we read that too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, who knows? Like everyone has Google Alerts now.
Yeah.
I don't. Like for myself.
My mom does for me.
But it's you know, for some reason, at least for me, when I read something, it like hits a little deeper. And so Annie, being a wonderful writer, writing me something personally, or then she wrote something for Swimming World, and just it made it all better. And having her really understand that moment was impactful. Having a spouse or loved one that has been at that level of sports and have that understanding and empathy was great for me. So I ended up swimming. So when you get third, for those of you that don't know, you're an alternate. You're backup in case someone might test positive for something or get injured. And so after 2016 trials, I had to keep training. Like you sign a paper saying, yes, I want to be the alternate, and yes, I'll keep training. Just because I know people, you know,
crazier
go
things
on
have
vacation,
happened.
and they just start relaxing like they've never relaxed before.
Yeah.
And so that was the greatest thing for me, because it was my therapy in the water. Like I loved the silence of the water, just the, being buoyant and figuring things out. And then how much your mind, when I swam, I just focused on my swimming so much. I didn't have time for negative thoughts or to feel bad for myself, which, to condense everything, I was just feeling bad for myself. Yeah. Like it was, I feel silly about it now, but
no, those are valid feelings.
Yeah. So I swam for therapy, and I was like, hey, I really enjoy this thing. So I just kept swimming for fun. And then 2017, I made the team and really enjoyed. I walked out of the ready room really with a smile on my face, no pressure this time, no heaviness. Like I took a lot of caffeine. I think there's something there too. But I looked in the crowd and I was like, this is awesome. And I thought it was my last time probably. Yeah. So I was like, this is just a cool thing. And then I ended up, I think, winning that trials. And then I went to Budapest, and I started discovering caffeine because I took more, and it made a big difference for me. I didn't really drink coffee early on either. So all of a sudden, I went to 52.1 or 52.2, the fastest time I went since 2012. And I realized I was just enjoying it. Just going back to the Aaron Pearsall from 2008, being present, enjoying the moment. And that started working for me, because 2012, I did put pressure on myself, and that worked for me. So I was like, let's just put more on it. Like 2016, let's sign more sponsors. Let's get more pressure. I'm only going to swim faster. And then I kind of broke. Like it didn't swim horrible. It didn't go, but I physically had the capacity to make that team. I mentally stumbled a bit. And when you have two other guys going fast, you can't afford that.
Yeah.
So that's how I got back into it. Why I didn't retire, why I kept enjoying it, was just my therapy. Like I loved it. It's my happy place.
That's so unique. Have you ever heard of someone who got third place and then just kept going like that? I think that's such an amazing lesson of swimming has brought you so much joy. If you keep pushing through, you might get to the other side and find something even better.
Absolutely. I think after 2008, there were some vacancies, team spots, and like, oh, hey, I haven't trained in 2 weeks. I can't swim. And so I think USA Swimming, I think they still do it now, but that was new, I think in 2016 or where they did that. And I thought it was great. I loved it. And I actually went times, and I was like, oh, I was pretty fast. Yeah. Like I was like, I think maybe if it was 2 weeks later, I would have been really good. But again, I had the capacity to be really good. My brain was good. I was set up for success. The coaches did awesome. There's user error on that one.
Well, and that perspective change over time too. I feel like we've all experienced it because we've had the time and we've been through the ups and the downs and the reaching your goals and the not reaching your goals. How would you advise a swimmer now who maybe hasn't had as much time as we have in the sport, that maybe hasn't hit the same high and lows? How do they get closer to that perspective that you found towards I don't even say the end because you're still going, but towards the 2017 kind of era of Matt?
Yeah. And I think that was 2008 was so enjoyable, and I found that same place in 17. Yeah. And then I made the 2019 Worlds, and that was really enjoying it too. Yeah. I was still swimming pretty good. But once you have kids, it kind of perspectives change. Everything becomes smaller, less important. Where swimming is the biggest thing in the world. When that's your whole life, you're just existing to swim fast, then that's all you know. The world comes to an end because, well, that little part of your world could potentially be the last swim or could discontinue. So just getting perspective is I think how you get that mindset, is realizing that it is just not just, I know it can be very important to you, but that goal is that it's a goal. You don't have to meet it to achieve success. You can define your own success. And I think if you, as an individual athlete that's trying to achieve something, let yourself always find the success. You're going to be better. You're going to be better in your sport or in your profession and whatever you do, because you'll get that energy. You're not just going to keep going. You're going to get your, you're just going to feel better about it. And I think a lot of people have a hard time celebrating. And I think a lot of people have that ideal. And the ideal's the toughest because it always changes. You're always making it harder. So you'll never get there because it's always shifting. Where if you can have, a goal and even if you're close to it, that's successful.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to then make the next goal better. Like the next goal, something you can achieve. And I think being able to adapt and adjust your goals and realizing that's okay is good too, to kind of get yourself, like, it's okay to sidestep or to realize that something could be better or different, or that one plan is adjustable.
Yeah. Well, Jack Roach always says success is not black and white. He says, like, Katie, there's gray. There's lots of gray.
Absolutely.
It's not black and white, and that summarizes exactly what you just said. It's not black and white, which is hard when you like to live in the black and white.
Yeah. Well, I love being told what to do.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest child, so it's like it's part of it. And so when all of a sudden you're making your own decisions, and there's pressure involved there when you're making your own goals and not getting kind of guided, you kind of almost take more responsibility, where if coach adjusted a goal, you went right with it. Like, oh, that makes sense. That's great. But when it's like you're like, no, I'm not allowed to do that. That's against the rules.
Yeah.
And so finding the gray, as
Finding the gray.
Jack Roach would say, I think is really great. And finding a way to celebrate any end of season. Like there's always something to celebrate.
Yes.
Always.
Yes. Love that.
And I think I've been able to do that more and everything. And that's helped, me not only enjoy it. Of course, you're going to enjoy it more, but actually find more success.
Yeah.
Like achieve more. Because I know if I just said you can cheat and define success however you want, but actually achieve more. Like,
yeah.
Well, and I love that too, because that's one of those pieces of advice that goes so far beyond swimming, right?
Yes.
Like that applies to every single area of your life, which is so much of what we're trying to do here. Is like, we have learned so much through our sport, and we're so grateful that we could just share that through our stories. And we're all learning every day how much that impacts us as friends, as business people, as wives and husbands and partners and parents. And you mentioned your family. You have 3 incredible kids. Of course, Annie. I had to mention too, Katie and I were both at the Minnesota Grand Prix in 2012 when you guys got engaged. And so last night when Lily King got engaged, you guys were the first people I thought of, because I was like, that was the last like swimming pool engagement that I was
the trend.
a part of.
I actually got some notes on that. They're like, hey, look who else thought that was a good idea. No, really cool. I loved it. You should have incorporated the elevator in that one. I think there's a lost opportunity. No, but really cool. Really cool to do that.
sweet.
And I think how cool for Lily to go into this training camp, just with that solid relationship and just knowing the future there is and what that is, and that's one less kind of distraction. People might think, oh well, wedding planning, don't get distracted by that.
Right.
You can do that later. Like it's just going to be focused, and it's just that extra, that support there is now solidified. That's like even
and gives her something else to look forward to as well. Just like aids that sense of balance,
perspective again.
Yeah.
She's kind of swimming in a healthy way.
Yeah, exactly. So having 3 kids now, having Annie, we know that so much of you being back in the water is for you, as you've talked about the therapy, but also, coming out, doing something like this, how much of it is you also just wanting to set the best example you can for your kids?
Yes, I love it. And it's so fun to watch them get more excited about swimming because of my swimming. When they watch that time trial, they were jacked up to go to practice. They go to summer league. My 4-year-old can go across. I can show you videos after, but she gets across and she does a really good job. She has like a lot of heart. You like see her face, like looking around. Oh, like let's pick it up. And Skylar, my oldest, is. She's like, you had a good start, Dad. And she's like, I want a good start. So I'm like, you win the start, you win the race.
Yeah.
Like, for that age group, it's pretty true.
Yeah.
And so I just got her film from last night, and she just rocked the start.
Oh, my God.
She's doing so great. And so just to kind of see that excitement transfer is awesome. They don't have to be swimmers, but if they are, that'd be really fun for Annie and I, because they're going to be tall. They're going to be big kids.
Yeah, shocking.
For those
Shocking.
So they're going to be big girls and a boy.
Yeah.
And swimming would be great for them.
Yeah. And whatever they do, they will be very athletic. I have no
And they already
question.
won it. They both want to win. And I'm sure they get a little bit from dad and mom, but it looks natural. Like, it's just funny to see some kids are just wanting to have fun and have snacks. Well, Gracie likes her snacks. And run around and play, but they like racing, and that's really fun to see.
That's so cool. Well, what are you doing other than swimming at Olympic trials? What are you excited about that you're doing right now?
So I'm a co-owner of DeMont Family Swim School with Rick and Carrie DeMont, and it's amazing. Rocket Rick DeMont's one of my best friends, like a father figure, and my dad's amazing, one of my idols as well. And then Carrie, his wife, is just an incredible person. And so getting to work with her like I did with Rick has been really fun. And it's fun to kind of analyze their relationship just because how different they are. They work so well together, though. And I feel like maybe they would say something different. I'm right in between them in terms of personality and just the way we work. But it's going great. So we're opening our second location on the east side of Tucson.
Congrats.
We bought the land. Architects have designed most of it, almost done. We've got our contractor, and as soon as we got the permits, we're ready to go.
Wow.
So the current location's awesome. We're about at its height, about 1,200 kids a week. We teach how to learn to swim.
That's a lot.
It's so cool. Like, it feels really good. It's one of those businesses that you feel great about. That you're just kind of potentially saving lives and building confidence in the water. And that's really fun to see. We've heard it from parents' feedback that their kids have more confidence in life, not just in the water, from being able to have that new skill, develop a skill. And that's not just swimming, but anything they develop and learn to do well, they have confidence in other aspects of their life. So getting that feedback has been really encouraging for us and rewarding. So we feel really good about what we're doing, and we're going to keep trying to expand, keep it going in Tucson, and who knows, anywhere else.
So hold on. I can't imagine. So you went from being coached by Rick, and now he's a business partner. That must come with complexities.
Yeah. So Carrie's much more involved.
Okay.
Rick he's an important aspect of it. He's a simplifier in a really good way, and he's a quick start. He's ready to commit and go to something right away, where I think Carrie can be too, but she likes to be more prepared. And just seeing how she's very organized and she is very prepared, and she her perception of everyone, she can analyze an entire room and try to make them all comfortable, and that's energy. And Rick he doesn't worry about that as much. He wants that personal interaction, and he's more I gotta be careful, but he's just,
you need both,
Rick.
though. You need both.
They're fantastic together,
yeah.
and it's super fun to work with. And I think it's really been a lot of fun. Carrie's taught me so much about business and swim schools, and it's been a great mentor, just like Rick was. So it's super fun to have been in that same, because she coaches me basically. She's teaching me how she developed and created such a wonderful business, and just like Rick taught me how to be a good swimmer.
Wow.
So really fun to work with them on these projects.
That's amazing.
And then we have a really fun connection too, because one of our sponsors of the podcast is the Magic 5, which Katie and I have been talking about a ton, which are the amazing custom-made goggles, and you're involved with them as well.
Yeah, we got together in, I think, 2021.
Awesome.
It was amazing. Before they were on Shark Tank, and they were on Shark Tank, and they, I think, had one of the greatest deals in history.
Yes.
A lot of people saw the potential there, and they're just amazing people with amazing product. Whenever I swim mostly at a rec center. So there's, I got all swimmers around me. And a lot of times people realize I'm a swimmer. They see me, they're like, hey.
What gave it away?
Yeah. And a lot of people ask questions about goggles. They're like, hey, how do these always leak? I'm like, hey, I got the answer for you.
Let me tell you.
And so a few swimmers have come back. A few older women came back and was like, this is amazing. I always had one goggle leak, because they were not completely symmetrical.
Yeah.
So you have one eye. Yeah, it's all different. So she was able to swim without her goggles leaking. And it was like, or such a joy for her, so important. It's like, that's amazing that there's that technology able to give that gift of swimming and that enjoyment where, you know, your eye's not super red and chlorinated, but you still want to do it. Like, it just opened up that exercise to her more. So I actually got to work the robot yesterday.
No way.
And it's cool. Like, well, work the robot. It's all, you press a button. And then you see this really cool design of how it cuts exactly to my eye shape. And then I get to torch it to like kind of finalize the rubber, make it a little glossy. Really cool. The technology is amazing. I think there's other things you could do with it too beyond goggles that are really neat. But yeah, again, if anyone needs some goggles, the Magic 5 is definitely the way to go. It's the only pair you'll need.
Yeah.
And you don't have to wear them as tight either because it just fits you and it doesn't leak. It's a great product.
You raced in them here.
I'd race them in 2021. I think I got 6th or something at trials. I was still okay. And then freestyle, it's really good because you don't have to worry about them falling off or anything. Backstroke's a little easier on the goggles.
Yeah.
Freestyle, you're like, you see some people pushing them in, like, oh, please don't fall off. Please don't fall off.
We've overdone the goggle pushing.
I know. Sorry.
Because he's like, I'm not going to say anything more.
I know. I was like, I feel so bad. I'm like,
it's fine.
Well, no,
I can own it.
Well, it's part of the routine. And then,
is.
like,
It is.
if you run out of other parts of your routine, you're like, well, that's one thing I can
do.
do.
So this is
Cycle back to it.
Well, and they leak once, like, even though you could probably do all right, it's just
paranoid.
Focus on it.
Paranoid.
Yeah. You're like, oh no, it's not going well. Like,
go back to it.
Yeah.
It's like a comfort measure.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to go into some rapid fire questions for you. So these are just fun, hot seat. Okay.
Ooh, baby.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What event are you most looking forward to watching in the Olympics this summer?
100 back.
Oh, rapid fire. Okay, what would be your Mount Rushmore relay from any Olympics? Anyone?
Free or medley?
You pick.
Let's go medley. And then I want to be part of it.
Yeah.
If I get to swim with these,
Well, I mean, I don't think it'd be the Rushmore. It'd be, so if it's actually Mount Rushmore, I'd say Aaron Pearsall, go Brendan Hansen, Michael Phelps, and Lezak.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
All right.
I saw Lezak out there. He looks great.
I
I was like, I
know.
got to get him. He's going to probably do great 50 free.
I totally agree. Okay, if you could be on a relay, what would it be?
Switch out Lezak, for Nathan, and put me back on there. And that was our London relay.
There you go. And that's it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Ironically enough, I think my favorite relay of all time was our medley relay from London as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Those were so special.
great fun.
Okay, if you could add a swimming event to the schedule that's not currently on there, what would it be?
50 back.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. Man, we're really
Easy.
coming back in
I know.
4 years. Coming back and maybe being pretty good.
Oh, easy. You would make the team, no problem.
Yeah. We'll see. A couple people that have to retire, but yeah.
All right. If you could pick one city to host the Olympics, what would it be?
Oh, Chicago.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
They're big. Indianapolis has done great. They're such a good sporting community, and Chicago really will embrace. 2016, they went for it, and they got pretty far along in their bid. And I think Chicago needs those sporting facilities. Like once the event leaves, too, to have a 50-meter pool in Chicago.
Yeah.
There's a couple, but they need more.
Yeah.
So the infrastructure or whatever gets established for the games would be awesome for the area. But people love it. Everyone's going to, because it's tough on a city. It stresses a city out. Like a lot of residents have to leave or like make way for, but I think they do a great job.
Yeah, agreed. All right, what's been your most embarrassing moment as a dad?
I'm actually really good at forgetting these things.
I
Like really, it's a
Conveniently.
gift. I really don't. People tell me embarrassing stories. I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. I don't.
You're like,
I don't
that sounds like me.
As a dad, I mean, I said some really silly things to Annie that really don't want to share. I don't. You're just not thinking, especially when you're tired.
Which is all the time.
I mean, I've come out with they have those. This isn't that embarrassing, but something I remember. the teething necklaces. So I was just walking around all day, like shopping and stuff with this like very girly baby teething necklace just all day. And
Like, it's not coming off. It's just,
I came to practice like, what's that? I was like, like, I've had this on all day.
No one told me.
No one told me. I don't even think like Skylar used that much, but I was just anything that could make
that could
them
help.
happier.
You were doing it.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, now most embarrassing moment on the national team.
Oh man. I think this is fine to share. So
I'm excited.
suits have like the 2 layers sometimes. They have the inner lining to kind of cover things up more, and then your normal suit, and so that for the compression and less friction. So I came out of a tent, and I think this is, might be 2019. I came out of the changing tent, and I'm stretching around, and I don't know if I want to say names, but I'm stretching, just talking to one of the heads of USA Swimming, and she's not making eye contact with me.
Oh.
And I wasn't thinking anything of it. And then I turn around, and I think it was Peroni and Dressel just die laughing. They're like, "Oh!" I was like, what? They're just like, it's point. And I look down. And so it's like a very thin like layer where you're concealed. And so I go to the side. Like, I'm a side guy. I don't do the other. So it's just completely see it. You can completely see everything. There's nothing, like, it is based sheer, very sheer. And I was like, oh no. It's like, that makes so much sense why she couldn't look at me. I'm like stretching. Like,
Dressel and Peroni too.
oh, they
just
lost it. Oh man. There's like,
wow.
Dude, and I was like, I gotta look next time I walk out of the changing station, make sure everything's concealed. So I guess it doesn't sound like I'm too embarrassed, but I was. I was like, oh no, I made people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, it was
not.
I'm asking you after this who it was.
Yeah.
Okay, that was amazing. That was the perfect story to end with. Okay, we're going to go into our final 3 questions.
Okay.
So we're so thankful for your time. We have loved this conversation so much. We ask these of all of our athletes every time they're on our podcast. So first one is, what is the moment or memory within the sport of swimming that has brought you the most amount of joy?
Yeah, I think winning that 4 medley relay in London, being on the finals relay, that was like in 2008, I was prelims, and I was like, that looks really cool. When they walk up, like, or on the podium, they raise hands together, and just, it's less pressure when you have your best friends there with you. And so to race on the highest level, and that just with a little less pressure to enjoy the moment more, was incredible. And to be with, the GOATs. Like, it's my almost Mount Rushmore. I talked about that relay. It was, it's a dream come true. So I think I enjoy that. That was like, Michael was supposed to retire. I don't know if you guys remember that. After 2012. So I was like, this is the last medal. Like, I'm going to have the last gold medal with the GOAT, Michael Phelps. And then he came out and won a whole bunch more.
Like, you ruined it.
Yeah, I was like, come on, man. But which is really cool, because now no one's going to be able to get that many gold medals ever in Olympics, or medals in general. But I think, that 400 medley relay was really cool. Really something special.
Yeah, it was.
All right, same question. A moment or memory outside the sport of swimming that's brought you the most amount of joy.
Our wedding day, I think.
Yeah.
Where did you guys get married?
San Antonio, Texas.
How many years now?
11.
11.
I know. It's
incredible.
it's great. It's been awesome. I get emotional talking about that too. Is just wonderful. Annie's the best.
She is
the best.
We can all vouch. She is the absolute best.
Yes.
But so are you. So
Thanks.
you guys are, and actually, I just thought of another rapid fire, if I can insert.
I'm in slow on the rapids, but I'll.
What is your favorite Halloween costume that you and Annie have ever done together?
Good
Because
call.
for those that don't know, their Halloween costumes are epic. Like, they go the full out. There's no holding back.
That's So the most impressive one was Avatar.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Yeah.
That hurt horribly. So I think there's a way we did latex paint, and I think you're supposed to put Vaseline on. We skipped that step. I had a lot of hair, And I was for 2 hours like scrubbing with a pumice stone. I was like bleeding. The next day, there's like scabs all over my body getting that off. So that was not the most fun, but it looked cool.
It looked incredible.
Because we're both really big.
Especially because of how big, yeah.
So people were like, hey, it's the Avatar. I was running down the street that night and people were like pulling over. They loved it. I had a tail like behind me. It was hilarious. Otherwise, we were Vikings, and that was a really cool one too. That one, I ended up cutting my hair, like fully committed, grew out my beard. So that was a fun one.
You need to do a family one at some point, like a really, really epic family one.
We tried. Annie had, she was Smee with the pregnant belly, and I was Captain Hook. We've done a couple other ones too, kind of not full efforts. We're just too tired.
Yeah, I know at that point. And then it's getting them in the costumes, getting them to stay in the costume, getting them to pose for a picture. And then
yes. It's just like all that work for a couple hours.
I know.
Yeah, it's hard.
I know. Okay, back to our actual final 3 questions. Last one is if you had to pick one word that encompasses something that you're working on, something that motivates you, or something that you're looking forward to moving forward, what would it be and why?
So I knew this question was coming. And when you guys asked me to come on an interview, I knew you were going to ask me this question. So I started thinking about this question way before you asked what my word might be. And it's hard.
It is.
There's something I'm working on all the time. And it's like, is it something that I need to be reminded of or something that I'm kind of taking care of a little bit? So my word is verify. And find the truth in something. So that's...
Okay.
It's if you say something and I know, like I try to anticipate what you're thinking or I tell a story in my head, I'm not allowed to go down that story. I have to ask now, is this what you're thinking? Because a lot of times I think my brain is pretty active on trying to anticipate what other people are thinking or trying to be cognizant or, and putting in an effort to make people comfortable or try to serve them in some way. And I was coming up short a lot in a lot of different aspects in a lot of different relationships where I pride myself on my communication abilities, not speaking necessarily, but being able to understand nonverbals and if people are happy, sad, so I was missing the mark a lot. And I was telling stories that weren't true. Like my mind was running away and like having this whole thing play out.
Yeah.
And I stopped that. So now I'm really trying to, before my mind runs away, kind of not directly, bluntly ask something all the time, but try to really verify that, hey, is this what you want? Like, is this what you want to do? Or when you said that, is this kind of what you meant? It's something I'm definitely working on. Otherwise, my word was present.
Yeah.
Like, back to there, like just in life's just better when you're enjoying the moment more, but I need to work on verifying because like I said, I thought I knew people, I could read people well and I can work on it or I can just ask them.
Yeah.
And
oh my God.
That's something I can absolutely work on too.
Yeah. It's like a version of staying curious. Like, people, maybe they mean this, maybe they're feeling that. I love that. I'm going to make myself a bracelet and do that too because I need that. I'll make you one too.
Perfect. Great. We'll all use it.
Yeah. Our leadership team at the Mom Family Swim School, we've talked about it a lot. And the team's getting better at it in general because we all can run away with stories for sure. So that was, it's been very helpful.
Also, can I just say thank you for putting so much thought into that?
I think you win the award for someone who put the most thought into that. Yeah.
That's really, and it's really meaningful for us and everyone listening.
And it's so valuable for me to think about, well, there's a lot of power in a word.
Yes.
Like a lot of power in that focus or just putting some focus onto something or emphasis or awareness makes it better, makes you better if that's what you want to work on. So it's thank you for coming up with the word project because I think a lot of people have probably got a lot of value out of it for themselves. I mean, the viewers might get something. But
different people's words, that's why I love it too. Like you share your word, like you shared yours and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, that is something I also need to work on, so we all help each other with our words. So that's kind of the goal. So
awesome.
Well, thank you, Matt.
Well, thank you guys so much. This was a blast.
So much fun.
We've had the best time. Congrats on everything.
Thanks.
We're so excited to keep watching what you do with the school, with your family, with your swimming, and you just continue to be such an incredible role model for this community and outside of it. And to get to share in your experience and your knowledge today means so much to us.
And thank you. You guys are do an incredible job. Everyone on here loves it, and then I know the audience loves it. We love it. So much to learn, and just you guys do a really good job asking really good, thoughtful questions, and being like fluid with it, being organic. It feels we went all over the place, and you guys just went with it, and it's so fun to hear other people's stories that they might not have known they want to tell, but you guys get out of them. So you guys are doing such a great job. Thank you very much for having me and for keep doing it. Get everyone. I love it.
We will, and we'll see you at Olympic trials in 2020.
That's right. Let's go. Woo!